Hindi, English both.
Oh.
Okay, you're live now. You can proceed.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Indian section, I welcome you all. Today is a sad day for us, for our brother Pradeep and sister Mitalini. And after the universal invocation, I would request you all to keep a minute of silence, sending them thoughts of strength and positivity. So let us all first join together in the universal invocation. O hidden light, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Thank you, everybody. Let me introduce today's speaker. Today we have Brother Ajay Kumar Singh. He's a postgraduate in English from Patna University, and he taught in a constituent college for 15 years. The college had to shut down because of lack of government funds, and he ended up starting his own coaching institute. He also writes articles for newspapers and magazines. He works as a freelance journalist, and he has a keen interest in the immaterial world and spiritual concepts. His topic is very interesting. It is truth in day-to-day life. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Respected audience, I am paying my hearty gratitude to all the audience, especially Mahapatra ji, who has given me a chance and platform to speak on truth. Truth simply means ground reality. I think all the Vedic scriptures are based on the realization of truth. The two epic literature, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, also move around truth. Truth has been discussed first in Upanishad. The name has been given to all those disciples whose head had been cleared, which means the head should have no hair and no worldly attachments. Here there is a discussion between a monk Rishi Sunak and his disciple Andira. The first verse a slok mentions Satyamev Jayate na Antritam. सत्य की विजय होती है असत्य की नहीं. The second verse means त्रयो धर्म स्कंध्य यज्ञो अध्ययन दान मिति प्रथम तपंग तम द्वितीय ब्रह्मचार्य कुलवासी तृतीय तम ब्रह्मलोके स्थितम यतस्तम विजनाति सः ब्रह्मणा सत्पथे अर्थात it means one who has yag, sacrifice, tap, austerity, from celibacy can realize the God. The third slok mentions तत्रापरा ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदो सामवेदो अर्थवेदो शिक्षा कल्प्यो व्याकरण निरुक्तम छंदो ज्यामृत्यो अत्पराय दक्षरम अभिगम्यते. These verse nowadays lower
I think we have lost his connection. Ajay ji, if you can hear me, we are not able to hear you.
He lost connection.
I think so. It's come back.
Yes. Truth trims. Truth trims. There is no any way other than truth. These verse explains the victory of truth and the way of the God which goes through truth. The other epic literature, the Mahabharata, there is a line in Shanti verse in the Mahabharata which means Satya Nasti Parodharma. There is no religion higher than truth. The truth trim, the truth has three states: truth in thought, truth in words, truth in action. We may take an example of liberty. Liberty comes in thought. We should put forth
Ajay ji, you switch off your video, then
yes.
your internet will be stable. Switch off your video, sir. Let us try that. Yes. Now speak, sir.
Yes. Maharshi Vishwamitra started first to make his journey beyond the nature, and he tried to discover the illusion. Here they are started the knowledge of science, the knowledge of nature. He came to know that the knowledge, whom we say ultimate knowledge, gives the knowledge of the nature, which we call the knowledge of nature or the knowledge of science. Later, this sort of knowledge was given force by the Bauddha scholars who also studied about the nature. Vishwamitra later put forth before Maharshi Narad that truth is limited only with knowledge. But how can it become in the society when one man behaves with other, man communicates with other, man deals in day-to-day life with other? Was it possible to live always with truth? Narad told Vishwamitra that it was possible. Truth always lives with nature, but Vishwamitra objected this. Vishwamitra advocated that when man falls in trouble, he gets the help of other than truth. Narad told that truth lives in nature and man cannot live truth. He put forth the example of the king, the king, one of his disciple kings, and he never left truth. Satya Harishchandra. He he has he went to the king and he took him at examination. Satya Harishchandra, the king Harishchandra, fell in trouble. His life became very tough and he never left truth. Again, this kind of question came in modern age when Mahatma Gandhi took truth not as an emotional way of life, but in a practical way of life. Mahatma Gandhi challenged the world and he adopted truth as a way of life and especially in public life. Once he appealed Hitler not to live truth but always follow truth. Although he was ignored there, Mahatma Gandhi told each party man that truth is possible provided that one must be logical and one must be clear with respect of all his behavior. Again, whenever he was with his disciples, he told that truth gives us several advantages. First, truth removes your shortcomings. If you are ready to accept your drawback, you are truthworthy and knows everything. You are ready to adopt the truth. Your shortcomings will be removed. Again, truth gives you courage. If you are truthworthy and truth comes in your life, you are courageous. We all know that in Gupta age and in Mauryan period, truth was the way of life in our nation. And India was so much mighty that in those days, when the mightier world Rome fell in the hands of Hun invasion, Indian army and Indian king went there to save Rome, and they saved Rome successfully. So such was the condition of our country when India was in the hands of truth. Again, there arises several questions on truth. The most famous university, Harvard University, once told that this concept, Sanatan concept of India, is useless and not practical in modern way of life. When man do business, when man goes in politics, it is not possible for a man to live always with truth. Harvard University cancelled this concept truth. But I am telling you, truth is still possible. Both philosophers also told that inner conscience is the prior condition for a man who wants to be successful. And inner conscience always lives with truth. Truth is natural, other than truth is man-made. Area there was to, to truth, truth. So these are now we come in our day-to-day life and in public life. When we study in the modern history, we find that the French Revolution, when French Revolution is still considered the most important event of the world, we find that there is a conflict between truth and other than the truth. The king has left the truth in action. Louis XIV has left to do good with the people and he engaged in war. The philosophers of French Revolution advocate that the king is worthy, the king has moral authority only when if the king remains at the service of the humanity. And the people are morally good and pay and can pay tax to the king. If the king gives him the guarantee to save their life, to save them from exploitation and other damages of the society. So there was a conflict in French Revolution. King had left truth and the philosopher was with the truth, but there arose a third party where there arose politics, and the concept of the modern democracy came. With the coming of modern democracy, politics also came. Next, we see the examination of truth in the socialism in Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution is also was also based on some untruth principles, and we see that after 100 years of Russian Revolution, the socialism in Russia collapsed. Other eminent world problems are also based on the confusion of truth. We are in trouble because we are not maintaining truth. We may take an example of Arab-Israel conflict, which came first before the UNO. Arab-Israel conflict means Jerusalem was the birthplace of the Jew, but the Jew were forced to leave their birthplace, and later the world society forced the people of Arab to give them their birthplace. Again, they are not ready to accept the underlying truth, and this is the sole cause of the problem. Next, we come to the burning problem, Suez Canal dispute. Suez Canal dispute is also full of the confusion of truth. The other cases brought before the UNO, again we are seeing the Rus and Ukraine dispute. Once Cuba became independent and Cuba came in favor of Russia, Russia prepared to install missiles in Cuba. America was coming under the area of the missile. America could not tolerate this. America maintained the policy of wait and watch. Again, Ukraine wanted to join NATO, and America and the NATO countries were preparing to install missiles in Ukraine. The defense of Rus was in danger. So the denying, this is the count, simply because they are not ready to accept the truth. If they accept the truth once, the problem will be sorted out very soon. This is my concept. If you go deal in politics, if politics means nowadays a public life, someone wants to do good to the people, and his success is based on the popularity among the people. The man is popular simply because man believes, the people believe him, and his trust is based on truth. The business, as we have been seeing in Patna city, the dealing of business is largely depend on truth. One man helps other simply because the other man is truthworthy. So the student also who accept the truth gets improvement in his student life. The man living in society, and if he is truthworthy, the other men of the same society believe and pay him respect. Thus, we have been seeing and watching that truth is the most important virtue, and one can apply truth in day-to-day life. One can live with truth. Truth is practical. Truth is still practical, and denying truth is the denying of the ground reality, and denying reality means invitation of several problems. Again, Renaissance, when we go in history, we find the, the period of Renaissance when Church of Europe used several superstitions to remain themselves in gainful positions. They told the people that the sickness of the sick is caused by his past misdeeds. But the truthworthy came forth in this way, and they found out that their sickness is because they could not maintain the natural law of the nature. The body could not keep in balance with the nature, and these imbalances caused him in sickness. So the disease can be sorted out when the body is brought again in the balanced positions, and the germ of the disease can be cured by giving him certain disease, not by giving him wealth to the churches. And in this way, we see that the superstitions was in no longer in life, and Renaissance give way to the progress of science. We see that by maintaining truth means when the science came in a study, science make progress, and by dint of science, we see that we are in a position to talk with each other, although we are living at two distant cities. Not only this, man is thinking to go in Mars, man is thinking to go in other planets by dint of science. This is not by dint of science, but we can say that this is by dint of truth. So, this is my own opinion about truth. I have studied more, and I am observing the society, I am observing at each moment, at each event of the society taking place in day to day life. And we reach at the conclusion, I especially reach at the conclusion that truth is more practical than the other thing. Again, I would like to mention the history of Greece. Once Greece was the most advanced land of the, the world. Greek could not maintain his progress when politics came in their life. And politics meant in among them the way other than the truth. This same false came in the life of Romans. Rome died, Greece died, Egypt died when they denied accepting truth. India is again, India is also suffering from the same problem. But the most number of the people in India are still believing on truth. The sizable number of Japan and China also believe on truth. I think that they will live long. They will live long after the destruction of the world if the world falls in the Third World War. So this is my concept about truth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You actually have another half an hour, and You have finished it quite early. Anyway, I thank you for the talk, and I guess we should be truthful when we are talking about truth. And so let us look at what all
Any
you have
question?
spoken.
Do you have
Yes,
any
yes,
question?
yes. Anybody has any questions? So I couldn't understand really clearly what you meant by this aspect of truth connected to Renaissance. What was that you were trying to say? I couldn't understand that. Could you repeat yourself in that? The
Yes, yes,
Renaissance
yes.
part.
Renasa, actually, Renasa came when people felt that they were trapped in superstitions. They were highly disturbed. The conscious people of the society went ahead and they went in deep of the truth. They found out the truth, and they found out that the things were not the same which the priest of the society used to tell them. So in this way there arose argument, there arose the culture of argument given by the both philosophers and Greek philosophers. The Greek philosophers also tried to give a way to find out the truth. Some Greek philosopher, perhaps Aristotle, gave some ways of argumentation. Argumentation is based on wisdom. So and we see that Renasa has brought us a way of knowing knowledge, knowing a way of knowing the nature. We see that when we started to know the nature, we came to know the characteristics of the elements. We know the law of nature, and thus the knowledge of science came forth.
Okay. You mean to say basically that whenever there is a change for something new, which is what Renaissance means, and when there is an opposition for the old set of beliefs, there is an exploration for the truth. I think that is what you were trying to say. Yes,
Yes.
Dubalji, I see your video's on. Would you like to say something?
Yes, there are few poems on truth because theosophy we are discussing and we are trying to put into practice. And what is the result of putting how the respect we gain in the society that we practically experience by implementing truth in our life. So these poems are in Hindi, then I will translate in English. हकीकत की तलाश में जिंदगी गुजर गई, नकाब पर नकाब थे, हर बात पर नजर गई, जो देखा था कभी हमने वो सच न बन सका, जुग ये यार में हर आरज़ू बिखर गई, अफसाने बहुत थे पर दास्तान एक भी न थी, सच कहने की हिम्मत में हर जुबा सिहर गई, उजाले की किरण देखी तो आंखें चौंकिया गई, अंधेरे में छुपा था जो वो रोशनी किधर गई. In search of truth, life passed by. Veils upon veils, every word concealed. What we once saw could not become the truth. In longing for the beloved, every desire scattered. There were many tales, but not single story. In the courage to speak truth, every tongue trembled. Saw a ray of light, and eyes were dazzled. What did that light go? Where did that light go, which was hidden in the darkness? What can we say now? This is the state of oblivion when even from oneself, one's own identity had faded away. Because this is the current scenario in the world. People know what is truth, but for selfish ends, they don't implement in the life. That is why the world is suffering. And there are a lot of incidents in our life. We find always, as it is mentioned in the poetry. There is another one like that. सच की राह में कांटे बहुत है, चलना मुश्किल है. झूठ का सफर आसान है, पर पहुंचना मुश्किल है. जमीर जब गवाही दे तो कोई परवाह नहीं, दुनिया की अदालत में जीतना मुश्किल है. आईने हकीकत जो दुलाई आईने ने हकीकत जो दिखलाई, तो रो पड़े हम. खुद से रूबरू होना कभी कभी मुश्किल है. पर्दों में छुपी बातें कब तक छुपाओगे, पर्दों में छुपी बातें कब तक छुपाओगे, एक दिन तो सच का सूरज निकलना भी मुश्किल है. So on the path of truth, there are many thorns which it is difficult to walk, because whenever we are in such a dilemma, when working in the company or working in the family and keeping the harmony, it's a difficult. There are a lot of thorns, and then we know the truth will prevail, but we have to struggle with the thorns. The journey of life is easy, but it's difficult to reach. When conscience bears witness, there is no worry. So whatever our conscience tells, we have to follow, because we have been studying a lot of books, Secret Doctrine and Light on the Path. This is what we are taught. So our conscience will always be present in the time when there is our examination or in the life. In the court of the world, it's difficult to win. When the mirror showed the truth, we wept. To face oneself, sometimes it is difficult, because it happens to us many times that there are always different ideologies prevailing, and which way we have to choose, that is very difficult. So when we are alone, see in the mirror, we see that what wrong we have done. That's why we are facing this difficult time. And how long we can hide such things, because one day the sun of truth will rise. It is difficult to stop. So these are the things which are happening in everybody's life. So the subject chosen today is really fantastic, and really guide us for our actions. Okay, he explains a lot of historical facts and truth, but really speaking, this is the challenge for us to implement in day-to-day life also. There is also another uh, thing also, that which is true feels bitter. What a strange custom this is. Why does the world take such pride in sweet lies? Even in light, some people live in darkness. They fear the truth. What kind of demeanor is this? As long as the tongue is locked, there is peace. If the truth is spoken, then chaos begins. So people try to become quiet. They don't speak. When they speak, तो सच की बात कड़वी लगती है. That is how it happens. Now you too ponder what is better to say. The truth hidden in the heart, that is secret. So these are really very important things, and the subject was very nice. I also thank Brother Ajay Singh. He said very nicely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I think to mention an incident given by a student of America. An 11-year student of America thought upon this. He thought that whenever man lies, he gives pressures on his mind, and these pressures can reveal what does the truth lie. And by dint of his thinking, he has invented a machine which is termed as lie detector machine, which is kept in Supreme Court or High Court.
Very nice. Yes, Vibhaji, would you like to add something?
Yes, namaste and good evening, everybody. I am very glad to hear this discussion, and I would just like to share something from a different perspective altogether, if Ajay sir would permit me.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir, so you have very nicely explained this truth in our day-to-day life. We have these lie detectors and so many other things. Now, looking at it from a theosophic perspective and the septenary manifestation, the entire cosmos is a septenary manifestation. When we speak of truth in day-to-day life, we are talking about it at our level, the physical level. What the eye sees, that is the truth. But many times what the eye sees may not be the truth. जो देखते हैं हमेशा वो सच नहीं होता है. Anyway, this is the perspective on physical plane. I wanted to bring in the angle of the highest plane, that is the source of truth. We say the
So,
highest principle, which is Brahma, that is Sat Chit Anand. Sat is pure existence, to be, and that is the source of the entire manifestation. The word Satya means something which is worthy of existing. So Satya is worthy of being Sat. So there's a difference in Sat and Satya. But the term Satya, these things are explained in the Rig Veda. Sat, Sat Chit Anand, of course, we know as Brahma, and Satya, Rita, and Dharma. So Satya comes from Sat, something which is representing Sat. And Sat is the one existence, the one reality, the one truth. So Satya comes from there as a source. Rita is the dynamization of this truth. The cosmic order of the universe, that is the truth. So it is a dynamic representation of Satya, a dynamic representation of truth. And dharma, when we say what is the dharma, dharma is the way of life which will uphold this truth. So Satya, Rita, Dharma. So thank you very much. I just wanted to bring in this perspective of the septenary manifestation of the universe. But otherwise, what you have mentioned on the physical plane, that is very true as far as what we perceive as truth on this plane.
Thank you, sister. Yes, anybody else?
yes, truth is possible in physical plane also. Mahatma Gandhi has given himself as an example of being truth. Truth needs you. Truth needs logical sense. Emotional sense will not be possible on the way of truth. If you are logical, if you are ready to face the odds of life, the tortures of life, and the challenge of life, which gives you a strength. So, if you are, if you want to get courage, if you want to challenge the society, which is the ground reality of life, you can be truthworthy. I think, madam, the tortures of life, the odds of life, it's not a trouble, but the torture of life comes with questions. And one who has been trapped by the tortures of odds must give answer of those tortures. And this answer needs truth.
Like what I think is, man, though we come on this earth, we really don't get any natural guidance on how to think. And most of us end up thinking very false things. We create gods, we create reasons for things that happen, we create myths. So reality is not something we are aware of. And truth, which means something universal. What is truth is same for you, is same for anybody. It cannot be a Christian's truth and a Hindu's truth or a Muslim's truth. So there cannot be different truths. So truth has a quality of universality, and that is what we are all in search for, those universal truths. So it's difficult because, like, for example, sir, you mentioned the Palestine issue. Really, in that thing, what is the truth is so hard to understand. Of course, it's very wrong, whatever is happening in Gaza, but equally, what Hamas did to the Israelis is wrong. Then it's equally wrong that the Israelis did not have any place to go and they created the Israel country from the Palestine country. It does seem equally wrong that Palestinians have been completely removed from their own country and there is no Palestine left anymore, literally. It's all in bits in that area. Everything is true. So what is the ultimate truth in that? It's difficult. Who's right? Actually, वो जनक वाली story है. ना ये भी सच है, ना वो भी सच है. That is that story. Neither are Palestinians right, nor are the Jews right. The truth is that brotherhood is gone in this fight for just for land. You see, such a useless thing as land. बहुत सारे countries में इतना empty land पड़ा हुआ है. But still, this 25-kilometer stretch is killing thousands of people and children, and very sad. So, truth is very complex. It's not easy to understand what is the truth. That's what I mean.
I think, madam, they are not ready to realize the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth lies with the fact that we are all brothers of the same source. So when brotherhood comes, there should be no any fight between man to man. But the first ultimate truth is denied. Again, the worldly truth is also getting confused here. So that is the reason of the conflict between Arab and Israel.
Yes, that's true.
When brotherhood is there, and this is the core, this is the ultimate truth that we all have, not only human being, apart from the human being, the other creatures are also offspring of the same source. So there should be no any fight. This is the ground reality. But organized religion, which is away from the religion concept of the old Romans, there is a word religion. Religion is made of the word religion. Means before the coming of Christianity, the people of the Rome followed a concept. They termed religion to all those works which was permitted by their inner conscience. So if we give permission of inner conscience, it always comes with the truth. And when truth comes, there should be no organized religion, there should be no organized community, there should be no nationhood, there should be a concept of humanity, concept of human interest, I think.
Very true, sir. Well said. But I think we are several tens of thousands of years away from that kind of state where humanity will come to that. And so before that, we have to see a lot of unrest. I think we'll have to go through a lot of pain before humanity realizes these things. So it's really sad, but it seems to be the truth because we are such a small minority who realizes this. I don't know how this is going to happen. We have to live on hope, sir.
We we have examples of students. The the one who seeks the knowledge of science, the doctors, the engineers, the technocrats, they all believe in ultimate truth. If the doctor does not distinguish between a Jew and a Palestine. The scientist does not distinguish between Europeans and Africans, whites and the blacks. They always treat man as a man and they see their troubles, not their community. So the the student of truth means the student of science, the student of philosophy, the student of knowledge. So there is no any distinguish between community wise, nation wise, and organized religion wise, as I think.
Nice, yes, sir. I guess that is how science unifies us. That you're right about that. In some way, science unifies us because science is it is based on truth, so universal truth.
Science, philosophy, and human knowledge. Human knowledge always appeals from known to unknown. From known to unknown means we want to go to the ultimate reality, means ultimate truth. What is ultimate truth? The, the knowing of ultimate truth is knowledge. And when this concept comes in mind, there is no distinguish between who is the knowledgeable and whom we give knowledge and whom we deal with. Means there is no any distinguish from man to man. A poet of English says, first he mentioned east is east and the west is west. There is no comparison between the east and the west. But he himself later mentioned when the two great men meet together, there is neither east nor west.
You
This
also
is
mentioned
my
a
opinion.
couple of times about how truth can be practical. One thing I can say is if you always speak the truth, you don't have to remember what you have said. Because if you tell lies only, you have to remember what you have said. That is true. Uh, Truth is practical. Perhaps it's more fair or right to say truth is part of the universal law of harmony. So the law of harmony says that if there is an imbalance, the balance will be restored. So the imbalance is created by some action and the reaction will happen. That is the truth. So any untruth is a creation of some disharmony. So we have to revert back all the time to the truth. And that is why it's a practical way of life because it will make life smoother and easier if we go along with the truth. Yes, Sheetalji, you have put on your video.
Nothing much, but I wish to. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
है ना? हाँ. ये तो हम बहुत सारी बातें करते हैं. Actually, truth is a divine virtue. In spite of that, only 10% follows this, and remaining are tend to say untruth or असत्य असत्य की जिंदगी जीते हैं. एक्चुअली मुझे लगता है कि जब तक हमारे पास ये फिजिकल बॉडी है, वी कैन कंसील आवर इमोशंस, आवर थॉट्स एंड आवर कनिंगनेस इन ऑल डिजायर्स. तो जब तक हम इस फिजिकल बॉडी से एस्ट्रल तक नहीं पहुंचते, तब तक ये बातें होने ही वाली है, जिसको काफी समय है ये एस्ट्रल में जाने के लिए. तो हम फिजिकल लेवल पे इसे कैसे इरेडिकेट कर सकते हैं, यही हमको देखना है, क्योंकि डे टू डे लाइफ में वही ज्यादा जरूरी है। सत्य जो प्रिफर करते हैं वो तो रहेंगे ही, उनके वजह यानी कहते हैं ना कि 10% सत्य लोगों की वजह से ही पूरी दुनिया चल रही है। लेकिन जो असत्य लोग हैं उनको सत्य की तरफ कैसे ले जाना चाहिए, उसके लिए सबसे पहले तो मुझे लगता है संस्कार, एजुकेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, एजुकेशन में भी ये सब चीजों पे ज्यादा ये देना चाहिए। और एक्चुअली बहुत बचपन से ही बच्चों पे इस तरफ ध्यान देना चाहिए कि वो कहाँ झूठ बोल रहे हैं, कहाँ वो फॉलो कर रहे हैं फॉल्सूड को, तो उससे क्या हो रहा है, वो यानी कहाँ उनको हम प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, ये बातें ज्यादा ध्यान देने लायक है ऐसा मुझे लगता है। और इसीलिए जब ट्रुथ जो वर्च्यू है उसे हम जब तक जिंदगी में उनको नहीं सिखाएंगे तब तक ये चलता ही रहेगा। छोटी छोटी बातें हैं कि तुम कहाँ हो, वेयर आर यू, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग, मे यू कम टू मी फॉर सम रेस्क्यू, इन सब का जवाब हम नहीं दे सकते हैं। यानी अ, असत्य कि नहीं नहीं मैं यहाँ पे नहीं हूँ, नहीं मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ, नहीं मैं अभी नहीं आ सकता हूँ, तो ये छोटी छोटी बातों में हम असत्य बोलते हैं। तो इन छोटी छोटी बातों को असत्य बोलने से कैसे रोका जाए, तो थियोसॉफिकल नॉलेज हमें ये बताती है। और हमारे में उतना पोटेंशियल है इसलिए हम लोग उसको और एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं। लेकिन ये जो प्रोपोगेशन है ये थियोसॉफिकल नॉलेज का, वो बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। और उसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं, ये वे आउट करना। और इस झूठ की छोटी छोटी चीजों में जो हम झूठ बोलते हैं, घर में पापा है क्या, नहीं है वो बाहर गए हैं, इतना सीधा सिंपल क्यों क्यों बोलना है, तो इसके लिए हम खुद भी जवाबदार है। और इसे और कैसे इरेडिकेट कर सकते हैं इसके बारे में हमें सोचना चाहिए। दिस इज truth in or untruth in day-to-day life. We should be eradicated very earnestly.
उत्तर में हम ये कहेंगे कि हिस्ट्री का नॉलेज, सही नॉलेज, ये हम लोग को दिया नहीं जा रहा है। ये जो नॉलेज, द नॉलेज विच वी आर रिसीविंग इन स्कूल और इन कॉलेजेस, the history tells the student simply that the French Revolution is caused by such and things. The history, I think, according to my own experience and concept, and I think when I have spent a lot of time on teaching, I came at the conclusion that whatever the troubles which the human being is suffering from is because of the realization, because the human being is not ready to realize the truth. As I have mentioned the example of French Revolution, when there was autocratic rule in France and some part of the population was suffering from several social imbalance in the society, some philosophers told them that the king has moral authority of getting tax if the king is ready to save their life. If the life is at danger, if the life is at exploitation and king cannot save the people from exploitation and from danger, how can the king authorize to get tax? So this is the truth. Again, yes, when there is a state, there needs a strong army. But the army is to defend the people. If the life of the people of the country is at danger, the army is needed to save their life. The army is to defend and not to offend. So ground reality has been denied by the French kings, and the French kings started using army to offend the other country, not to defend the people. So when the realization of truth to, to disappeared, the existence also disappeared with it. Again, we see show you an example of Hitler. One of his close colleagues, Gobul, used to say that if the false is repeated 100 times, it becomes truth. Mahatma Gandhi gave him a letter telling him that truth can never be a strength. Hitler ignored his letter. He went on continuously on his own path. We see that Hitler destroyed. Hitler came to his tragic end in his own life. Mahatma Gandhi became ultimate victorious. So this is the realization of history. The true teaching of history can give the student a light of truth, as I think.
Well said, sir. Very well said. But again, I think history repeats itself and we keep making the same mistakes. And the kind of uh, blind belief the Germans had against the Jews, there is something like that happening in India too, in many ways. So any sort of propaganda should never be believed in. I mean, basically, one should research what facts are there in any sort of propagandist viewpoint, which is what the Germans did against the Jews, literally brainwashing a whole their entire country into believing that one community is the cause of all the problems of that country, which was totally false. And that's happening even now in India. So exactly this, that truth is all that matters, but we need to focus on that. And uh, the, the greatest truth is universal brotherhood, for which the Theosophical Society is. So I think with that note, we shall end the program. I thank Ajay for bringing this wonderful topic and for this lovely discussion that we all had. Once again, let us keep in our minds the Mahapatras and their sad day and say our closing prayer.
I, I am also paying my thanks to all those who have given me a chance to speak and to express some truth.
Thank you. Asatoma Sattamai, Tamasoma Jyotirgamai, Mrityorma Amritam. Om Shanti. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino, Sarve Santu Niramo, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Kaschit Dukha